What's up, everybody? This is Austin Rivers with Off Guard. I'm your host, along with my co-host, Pausha. 2025-2026 NBA season right here, right up on us, opening night happening. Super excited. We kind of did a preview last week, but we're back with all these games right close to tip-off. Pausha, how are we feeling? As a basketball
I'm doing
fan,
good.
what a time to be alive.
It's an amazing time. One of those rare times, but it's gonna be more common now that you're on the road for NBC a lot. But you're out of town. You're not in sunny Orlando, Florida. You want to talk about where you are and what you're doing? I know you got a big time interview for Eye for the Game, right?
Yeah, had a episode which is also going to be featured at NBC Sports. Peacock had a very, very special guest from the Milwaukee Bucks. Launch our first episode officially with NBC tonight. So that'll air sometime within the next couple of days. Don't want to announce who. You guys have heard of him. He's one of the greatest players of all time. I'll leave it at that. Super excited.
Which one of the brothers did you get on the pod? Did you get brought for the game?
Exactly. And you know what? It was unbelievable. He's awesome. It was awesome. The show went great. It's you know what it is, man. It's so exciting to be around the league when like tip-off's about to happen. You're now seeing everybody in their serious gear when it's getting their pregame, pre-workout, practice workout, regimen, all these different things. Obviously, as hoop heads like we are, and I'm sure people who listen to this podcast who, watch all sports, but basketball dominates our life. It's the best time of the year. I look forward to winter. I have ever since I fell in love with this game. The cold, the holidays, it's everything wrapped into one. And I'm super excited, yeah.
Definitely, I think we should take this opportunity to talk about the Milwaukee Bucks a little bit. It's a team that we cover a lot, obviously, ever since your dad became the coach. But
yeah,
just looking at the roster, and I saw what their projected starting lineup is going to be. It looks like Kuzma might be off the bench. They're going to start AJ Green, who they just signed to an extension. I was looking at this roster, and I saw all the shooting surrounding Giannis, and I thought about how weak the Eastern Conference is. Obviously, we've talked about that. Everyone's been talking about how weak the Eastern Conference is. Do I like the Milwaukee Bucks this year? Like go look at the shooting, the depth. You and me are fans of Cole Anthony, and we know on any given night he can explode for a big quarter or a big night. How much do you like this team? Now that you're in Milwaukee right now doing the interviews, are you kind of sipping the Kool-Aid a little bit?
When you put it like that and you start thinking about the landscape of the Eastern Conference and how there's not really a powerhouse team that's proven itself. Now, there are really good teams who have had successful seasons. Cleveland had the league's best record last year. Obviously, the Knicks are a very powerful team with a lot of star power, all these different things. But these aren't proven teams that have gone to the finals and are just a landslide better than everybody else. Especially Cleveland, they've had their own issues, especially in the playoffs performing. That's who's ahead of them. So when you take a team that does have a guy like Giannis, who has won a championship, led a team there before, anything's possible. And then to piggyback on the point that you alluded to, when you look at their roster and you start seeing how much shooting they have around a top 2 or 3 player in the NBA, in the world for that matter, they're dangerous. They're in the mix. I talked about it briefly today with a few of their players. They feel like they're in the mix, man. Like I just being there at their practice, watching these guys play, how serious the practice was, guys locking in, and then after I'm having conversations with Kuzma. Kuzma's talking about his team. He's like, man, I'm actually really happy here. I have a role. I don't have to do too much. He goes, listen, Washington was fun for a lot of reasons. I kind of got to go out there and do what I wanted, but we are really bad, and I wasn't really cut out for that. And he was like, not that he can't be a star player or doesn't have that talent, because Kuzma is very talented, but he's like, I get to play and star in a role here, and I'm excited to do that. Mind you, I didn't even know he was coming off the bench. So the fact that he's talking to me like this with that approach and that humility means he's already kind of accepted that role. It's also a long season. I'm sure he's going to wear many hats. There'll be nights where I'm sure he starts plenty of games. But they have a lineup full of guys that pretty much can stretch the floor for Giannis. And then they have more substitutions of guys who can stretch the floor for Giannis. So they're in the mix. When you think about the East, you think of Cleveland, New York. And then after that, it's Atlanta, Orlando. And then I think the other team that'd be in there is Milwaukee. And Milwaukee's a team that's least talked about. I think Atlanta, people are excited about. And Orlando, people are excited about. The Knicks, everyone's excited about them. Cleveland, people know they're good, but we're wondering what's it going to take for them to get over that hump. Milwaukee's a team that kind of just floats under the radar. I think you're right, Pasha. I think they could actually have a season here where they might put something together and be competitive.
And you think about a guy like Miles Turner, who's been on the trading block for the Pacers for this entire decade, and this is the first time he's going to a team where he knows he's wanted. He doesn't have to think about the trading block, right? Came off an amazing year going to the finals. I can't imagine a better pairing for Giannis than a guy that could space the floor like Miles Turner, protect the rim like Miles Turner, who's going to be hungry, who just went to the finals, so he has the experience like Miles Turner. They could be the potentially the best 4 or 5 combination in the NBA. A lot of it hinges on, and you can give me a little more insight on this, what you think about Kevin Porter Jr. being, he's your main guy, he's your point guard, he's your ball handler now. That's a big if. For them to be successful, he's got to assume that position. He's got to be good at it. What are your thoughts on him being able to do that? I know you think he's really talented.
Listen, talk about the basketball gods rewarding, someone who's kind of had his trials and tribulations. This is a guy who was in the fringe of ever playing in the NBA ever again a few years ago. He was in a low-level overseas league. I remember looking at clips of him, and I'm like, man, this guy's done. For him to be not only back in the NBA, but he's a starting point guard for a competing Eastern Conference team to where it's make or break. Like a lot of their season is dependent upon his play. Is remarkable. It just shows you how it works if you just stay with it, how life can work. This is bigger than just basketball. Just in life, when things aren't going your way, you just got to stay with it. You just don't know where you'll end up. This is a bit better and bigger role than he ever had in Houston.
Right.
Because he started for Houston, but they were a shit show. They were like a trial team. It was a mess. They weren't good. This is a real ball club with a team that just won a championship not that long ago, with arguably one of the greatest power forwards of all time, and a team full of veteran players, proven players, a coach that wants to win now, and he's a starting point guard, and people are high on him. Everybody when his name was brought up today at that practice facility, it was just all, man, this dude's talented. Man, this guy, scoot this, scoot that. People believe that Kevin Porter Jr. can be an all-star talent and a guy who could surprise a lot of people. We talk about most improved. This is a guy who could have a big-time year that's set up just due to his minute increase. His numbers last year to this year should be drastic. There's got to be worry, not due to his incapability, just due to the fact that we don't have a proven track record of Kevin Porter Jr. leading a team as a starting point guard on a winning team. So that's the what if. What we do know is he's extremely talented. What we do know is all the off-the-court issues, all that stuff's not pretty much, it's all behind him. We haven't had any incidents, any issues. Everyone likes him there on the team, the people I was talking to today. So we'll see. This is a big year for him. I do know that if it goes well and he performs like what I'm hearing, talk about a career 180.
Right.
That's what this would be.
And I think what you said was, you hit it right on the head. If things go wrong in your career, right, a lot of it's self-inflicted. If you're that talented, you could get another shot, right? And he probably knows this is another shot. He must be that talented.
Talent gives you chances, okay?
Yeah.
Talent gives you, let's just talk for what it is. All right. It's not equal opportunity because it's not an equal opportunity league and it's not an equal opportunity world. For those who have more talent than others, sometimes you can get a chance or two, maybe even 3. If I was a second round pick and I had a shitty first couple years with the Hornets / Pelicans, I don't know if my dad or even the Clippers or anybody would have been like, oh, we'll take them. Boston, who traded for me at that time. I don't know if anybody had any interest in me, but I was a top pick 2 years prior as the number 1 player in high school. People are like, yeah, we'll give him another chance. It might be the wrong fit. It could be Monty. Do you know those? You know what I'm saying? So that's what happens. Kevin Porter Jr. had some off the court stuff, had some stuff on the court, blah, blah, blah. He's overseas now in a league. People are like, nah, people tend to gravitate towards someone with that much talent. And then now that he's, like you said, if you could just be consistent enough to give people a reason to give you a chance, they will if you got talent. He's done that. He's done the hard part. He went overseas, stayed out of trouble, came back, stayed out of trouble. He's performed well when given the opportunity. Last year, he came in mid-season with the Bucks, played very, very well. Or not mid-season. He came. What time? When he gets signed? He signed. Regardless, doesn't even matter. Whenever he came,
he
to
came
the
along
Bucks,
when Kuzma came along with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So whatever that time period was, came along. When the season had already started, people didn't really know what they were going to get from him, and he was a great surprise. He played so well that this summer there wasn't a question that they were bringing him back. They also felt comfortable waiving Damian Lillard, even though he was injured. We know that's why. That was be also due to like, hey, we got this young guy who's like really hungry still. Kevin Porter Jr. hasn't signed a max contract. He's hungry as fuck. He's also had all these trials and tribulations to his early career. This is the biggest opportunity and chance that Kevin Porter Jr. has gotten and maybe ever will get in his basketball career. You're going to get the best version of a very talented, young, hungry guard. They're betting on that. So it's exciting. And
You know, in
he's,
you
yeah,
talking about, talent kind of prevails and you get other opportunities. That reminds me of a lot of GMs that'll take a chance on a guy that was maybe a top player in the nation. McDonald's All-American. They did their 1 year in college. It didn't go that well. Maybe they slip into the second round, but then like, hey, 2 years ago, this guy was the top prospect and was one of the best players in high school. So you'll
that's
see a guy like maybe
exactly.
Nas Reed, for example, who was a top player in high school, goes to college. Maybe it didn't go as well, but then he's back then he goes on the Timberwolves. He does really well, signs a big contract. He's right where he was supposed to be. He just took a weird way, right? And that if you were a GM, would you take a risk on a lot of guys like that? Like a lot of guys that they were
For
really
sure.
good, highly ranked players, but maybe depending on what college they went to, their opportunity is not. People don't understand the thing about college, and you know it too. Going to Duke, that might have worked out for you. You led the ACC in scoring. You did all these things. But a lot of people, they pick the wrong situation, or they don't get along with the coach, and then they go to the NBA because they were supposed to be one and done. They're still the talented guy, right? Maybe their stock
Yeah.
kind of goes up and down.
Yep. That's where like we always talk about how it's situational. And that translates to every level, high school, college, to the NBA, where you could see a top level player who just dominated 6 months prior now in college and he's not performing well. It's not always just cut and clear like that. Um, and we've seen it work out and not work out in cases. We've seen guys who were top level players go to a college, play good, not great, but still teams will be like, we'll take him because he knows Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish is a guy who was, if you talk to his high school peers, they thought this guy was going to be Tracy McGrady. I mean, that's how he was kind of received. And then he goes to Duke, played good. He didn't play great, but he played good. And it was at Duke, which matters. So then he goes lottery, and then it just didn't really pan out. And then there's been other players who have. By the way, with the way I'm seeing this work now in this new NBA, Kevin Porter Jr., for instance, Cam Reddish's story's not done yet. Cam Reddish could be back in the NBA in 2 years from now with a whole new level of humility and experience from playing overseas. Maybe he goes overseas and Cam, who has all the utensils, things you can't teach, feel, scoring ability, all this stuff, maybe he learns how to play without the ball. Maybe he learns how to move without the ball because that's what you have to do in Europe. You know what I'm saying? You start picking up on things as an adult, as a grown man. He's going to go overseas and he's going to become a grown man. It's not going to be the same as the NBA. You don't play in these five-star arenas and stay at five-star hotels all the time and do all these different things. He's going to go there and have all these things. If you don't think these things have helped Kevin Porter Jr. to where now he's come back and people are raving about how he's, leveled up, not just as a basketball player, but as a human being, as a man, these things can happen. I think it's always worth taking a shot on a top-level player.
That's a
You
really
know,
good point you made. I think you and me could both agree. A few years ago, if a player went overseas, their career was kind of over in the NBA.
it
They
was
kind of forgot
done.
about
It
it.
was done.
Dante
People were
Exum
scared
was
to
one of
go
the
over there.
ones. Dante Exum was one of the ones I could think of in recent history that went overseas, went to Barcelona, I believe, came back to the
He's
Mavericks.
I'm not calling him a trailblazer because it's happened before. There's been guys, Pargo. A lot of guys have gone over, come back. It's happened. Nick This has gone over. I get all that. But, like, usually Nick went over to stay. But a lot of guys, when they go, they go. And it's been, if we're talking about history, usually when a guy leaves the NBA to go overseas, they usually don't come back. Mike James is one of these guys who have done it. There's examples and exceptions. Dante Exum is one of those guys that was like a top level talent guy who coming out, being drafted, was very highly touted, went overseas and then came right back. That's something that I do think will be more common now. You're going to see some of these top level players, especially with how fast and how young they're coming in the NBA, not be ready, go overseas, get a little manhood, and then come back over here and be a lot better. And people will be like, oh my God, he improved. No, his game was always there. There's a lot of mature. These kids are like 20, 19, 21. Their stories are so far from written. Even Kevin, think about all the stuff he's gone through. How old is Kevin Porter Jr.? He's in his mid-20s?
Yeah.
He's a kid. He's a young man. Like, this dude is like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he's talented as hell. So I do think that'll be more common. I
Yeah,
do.
and there's another guy like Taylor Horton Tucker who I saw who's playing in
Yep.
Turkey. Yeah, it's like in a couple years, if you're an NBA
I
team,
don't understand the law of physics with him. He's built like a goddamn. He's built like a retired steel worker, or like a. I, he has the body of my grandfather, but he has this quirkiness, shiftiness to him. He's as wide as ever. He's like as
Right.
wide as a wall. He's a bag of flour. But I saw a clip of him the other day on a fast break. This dude took off, bro. And like I gotta again though, another a KPJ, 25 years old, by the way. Um, Tucker's another guy I do believe we'll see back in the NBA. He's
Yeah.
talented as shit. He's definitely a guy that could come off someone's bench and provide some offense. Uh, so yeah, I do think that'll be more common. There's talent out there that doesn't always work out. You got to go places, and Tucker's had success already in the NBA in certain spots. So that wouldn't surprise me. It's actually surprising he's not on a roster already, to be honest. But yeah,
Well, the NBA needs expansion more than ever. Some of the guys that haven't been signed this offseason, and even Russ getting signed as as early as
did you love his
just
interview?
recently. I mean, listen, can we talk about Russ for a second? We didn't talk about it too much on the last pod. You've always talked about how an amazing teammate he was to you. One of your favorite teammates you've ever had. And that's what
Yeah.
kind of bothers me. Everyone's like, well, you can't play him and he can't shoot. He needs to be in a certain system. What about, no one talks about just him as a vet, as a teammate, how useful he could be for other teams. All these young players, all these teams riddled with, 21, 22-year-olds. You don't think it would be valuable to have Russell Westbrook be with these guys?
Yep.
You know what I mean? So how happy are you that he is signed with the Kings? He's happy. He's still in California, even though Sacramento's a little bit up there. Are you just happy that he got signed? And what do you think about the Kings, situation and their chances?
Well, for one, long overdue. There are reasons behind that. I'll touch on that. But Russell Westbrook deserves to be in the NBA. Unfortunately, the NBA is not a league like any Fortune 500 or any billionaire, any billion-dollar company. It's not always about the deserving. There are politics that go on in sports, just like there are in business and such. And confidence can scare people. It can shoo people away because people have a blurry line with confidence and versus arrogance. For instance, his interview the other day. Is this your last year? He goes, "Yeah, right." I love that.
Yeah.
I love it because it's him telling me like, "Yo, you're not about to end me. You don't end Russell. Russell ends Russell. I'll leave the game when I'm ready to leave the game." You're talking about, is this my last year? Yeah, right. This dude is MVP, triple-double, all-star, worth hundreds of millions, and here he is on the Sacramento fucking Kings, who are going nowhere. They're not going to be competitive this year. Okay? They're not going anywhere.
But you have all the names that we all are very familiar with, right? No one's going to play defense on that team, but they have all of the names with if you go through the list.
Will be lucky. Listen, they'll be lucky to be in the play-in, respectfully. Okay, they could. They got a Sabonis. You got a DeRozan. You got Westbrook. I mean, yeah, like you said, they got Monk. They got these names. You're like,
You haven't even named Zach LaVine, Keegan Murray, who's injured, but he'll be back. Yeah.
Their roster on paper, you're like, they got all these guys are ballers. So when I say this, I don't want players on the Sacramento Kings to be like, man, who are we playing? Who is it? I'm not playing you guys individually. I'm going off the record of what last year held, and you lost De'Aaron Fox, so you can't be better. I can't see it happening. Now, maybe you guys are able to figure out something. I don't know. But at the very best, with the packed West and the landscape of how it looks over there, they'd be lucky to be a playing team.
I would like their team in a Rico Hines pickup game. That's where I like to see those guys together.
In a Rico Hines, Remy Workouts summer run,
yeah,
they would be dangerous. Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Monk, they would be very dangerous in a street ball or a pickup game. But no, I to see a guy like that have that type of energy about himself, like, yeah, right. I love that shit. However, not everybody can relate to someone being very confident in themselves. People get turned off by someone really believing in themselves. I know that's sad, but that's how this world works. People look at someone who's very confident and sure of themselves, and instead of being like, man, that's the way, some people view him as arrogant, problematic. And I only say this because Russell is one of the best teammates I've ever had. He's a very humble guy. When he turns that light switch on, when he competes, he's a beast, which is what you want. He puts it all in his craft, but he's not a locker room problem starter. I'm not saying he hasn't been in certain situations. Every player has anybody who's played over 10 years in the NBA, has 8 years, 7 years in the NBA, has had a team or two where you like don't mesh with the coach. All right. It just happens. Just like if you worked at 7 different companies, are you going to get along with every boss? No, it's not how it's going to work. So especially when the landscape, if you're getting paid 4 times more than the boss, think about the dynamic of sports. So that's going to happen. People will label you, and the NBA is a big ass high school, and there's perception, and there's the cool kids and the popper kids, and you can get a perception very quick. So even though there's a bunch of players like myself who talk about and rave about how Russell's so great, blah 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 blah, because LeBron or the Lakers situation didn't go great, or this didn't go, he gets labeled and typecasted in certain things, and that's why people signed Russell Westbrook gets signed 2 weeks into a weekend of training camp, man. Did you see some of these guys sign contracts? Is Christian Braun $122 million better than Russell Westbrook? Because Russell signed a vet minimum. Christian Braun signed $125 million.
Wait, so you don't like that? You don't like that signing for the Nuggets?
I do, but it's for different reasons. It's like why the league is what it is. I'm just telling you, Christian Braun can't do a double crossover without dribbling off his feet. But he's great in his role as a role player, as a slasher, as a defender. He's young. He's getting better and better. He had a great playoffs last year. $125 million. Russell Westbrook's numbers were better than Christian's last year. He couldn't get on the team. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so
I understand what you're saying, but I mean, but I would also understand why the Nuggets had to sign him, right? You're always pressured.
I get it. But and when you pay a guy like that, you're building an asset. So now Christian Braun is a very tradable asset. He's 125. And
there's always pressure to sign the guys you draft. I think that's the big thing.
Okay, then. So there's politics involved, is what I'm saying.
Well, as a GM, you want to look like you made the right decision.
Okay, so it's not about the team; it's about you.
Even though their GM got fired, but that's
they don't even have a GM. The GM's Nicola. I don't know who the GM is over there, but that's the point. There's always something involved that's more than just basketball. His stats are better than Christian Braun's damn near all across the board. Christian Braun got paid $122 million more than Russell. Is Christian Braun better than Russell Westbrook? I don't know. In a certain role, maybe in some aspects no. Is he $122 million better than Russell? No, it's not about that. Should Russell Westbrook have been signed a weekend of training camp? No. But is his locker room presence is there a little bit more motion that follows Russell? For instance, are there a lot of guys that you can sign 1 weekend in training camp that'll be the 14th guy, won't have a problem, will work hard every day. If he plays, he could be solid. Yeah, there's a million of those guys. They signed. Russell, there's more, he draws a lot. There's a lot of gravity that follows him. He's a superstar, once was. Now he's not in that role. Mentally, where's he at with that? Is he okay not playing? It's different if a guy named Joe Schmo who doesn't play comes in the locker room and yells at the coach, man, I want to play. Coach will be like, out of here. You can't out of here, Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook got more traction than the head coach there.
That reminds me of when Tim Tebow couldn't get signed, and NFL teams are like, man, maybe he's an NFL player, but if we bring him here, then the crowd's chanting for him to play. If he doesn't play, it's a circus.
It's why Shador dropped all the way to where he was, because of look what's happening right now at the Browns. Every time he opens his mouth, or the other day when he did it, look what traction. Look at the gravity that follows them. Right. So they penalize someone like Russell. Russell had a big enough role last year for a playoff team to where he should have been signed second wave of free agency. Let the current superstars sign first, like he used to be. Now, towards the tail end of his career, he's still in the second wave. He's a valuable role player for the Nuggets last year. Their season even turned around in certain aspects because he was playing very well. He had multiple triple doubles last year, and he just signed to the Sacramento Kings. Okay, so I'm telling you, like, the people penalize because he's not your typical role player, and the gravity that comes with him is a little bit more expensive than what you're paying him. So guys don't want to do it. I know this because I was this. I was never Russell Westbrook. So I was never a superstar Hall of Famer like that. But my name and the gravity of what came with me outweighed what teams are willing to deal with or thought. So people just be like, I don't know if I want Austin as our 12th, 13th guy in the locker room. He's not going to be Garrett Temple. He's a little bit more outgoing. He might talk a little bit. I also, half these kids watched him play in this mixed. I don't know if his voice and light. This is what happened with me. And I was pushed out. Yes, I played 11 years. Everyone knows who knows anything about basketball knows that right now you could take the back five of each team and I would fry them right now. And I'm 2 years out of the league and I would fry. I just went to a Bucks practice and I saw 3 players I've never fucking heard of. And I knew right then I was better than them. What they bring to the team is more valuable than what I would bring right now. Not to mention, I have weight with my name that could be controversial. They don't have that. I'm not saying I deserve that because I did it, but it's what happened, and no one else created it but me. I can't blame anybody but myself. And that's just the reality of what happened. Russell, through the good, through the bad, it's great. When you get on that tail end, it's harder for you to stay around because people still think of you as like the Russell who would be in these interviews like, what? When that's not even him anymore. He's evolved too, but it's
And you know, this is tough too because it's almost like he gets penalized for his longevity of still being good. Because most careers would have ended a couple years ago, and we would have thought of him in a certain light. Would have went out a little more on top. But the longer you play, and this is what I want to get to the LeBron thing, where a lot of things came out today. The Russell Westbrook, Will Smith story. I don't know if you read that.
What
Steve coming at LeBron. People are challenging LeBron's character, and it's kind of like, is he now sticking around where it's just like, all right, man, maybe. Should he? I mean, we talked about it on the last pod. On the last pod, you said the NBA still wants to hang on to him as the face of the league. We don't know who the face of the league is, but then we're also criticizing him the more and more he stays and plays, right?
That's the problem I have with the LeBron thing. Okay, first off, I don't like stories coming out years later. It's bullshit. It's been too much time to have too many mouths in the middle to where now the story's changed. Did he walk back in laughing? Did he do that? I don't know. This happened years ago. Who gives a f?
So you did read the story. One. Good.
Oh, no, I did. I saw it. I mean, it's everywhere. It's all over Instagram today. And Stephen A was saying it on Carmelo's pod and all these different things. And, you know, he's so fake and all these stuff. Hey, yo, listen, man. Okay. First off, we got to have a little bit more respect about someone who's had the mantle for this long. I'm not the biggest LeBron guy. I'm not one of the guys that he sees out and gives dap to and is like, yo, what up, my boy? I'm not. I was with Clutch and left that place. Okay. I don't have that with him. But even I am not going to sit here and like, bro, come on, man. We got to be a little bit more respectful about someone who's carried the game. Now, I'm not saying he gets to do whatever he wants. I'm not saying he can't be ignorant or corny. We can't make jokes or laugh about it. But like, you can't have it both ways. I touched on this last pod to your point. Let's not beg him to stay around and be this continued face who's carried our league. We just asked him to go over to the Olympics in Paris. Please win it for us, brother. Please. Without LeBron on that team, we don't win. Okay? So we do all this, and then now we're bringing up stories from 3 years ago.
That's a great point. This time last year, he's holding the flag and getting the MVP of the.
And everyone is Captain America, LeBron, your savior. Literally a year ago. And then now we have stories coming out about how fake he is. And first off, who's putting this together? What source? Who said this? They're saying Russell said it. They didn't say Russell.
Well, listen, the people involved, you can make a couple phone calls. Patrick Beverly, Russell Westbrook. We can get to the bottom of this pretty quick right after the pod.
Who came up with this? And why are we talking about this? For what? So you're saying with all the capable stories that we could be talking about with the NBA and LeBron, the day before the NBA tip-off, we're going to talk and deface the man who's been the face of the NBA for the past 18 to 20 years? That's what we're doing. The day before NBA tip-off, we just had a whole summer about how the NBA is so toxic, and now we're glad NBC's back and all these things, and we're cleaning up the game and all this positivity, blah, blah, blah. Why are we still talking about this? Why are we talking about it the day before tip-off, about a story that when Russell was on the Lakers, Will Smith, what the f*** are we talking about? Ew. Ew. What are we doing? And then there's no sources. It's a BS weird story to start with. Listen, I'm not the biggest LeBron, but one thing I do have is I have a tremendous amount of respect for LeBron James. And I will not deny his greatness. And I'm not going to sit up here and try to like disparage him as like a character. No, when you start calling someone fake and corny, now we're getting away from the game. All right? Yeah. And again, I'm a Jordan guy. It doesn't mean I'm a LeBron hater. I'm not a LeBron hater. I know people think that because I'm a Jordan guy. I'm not. I'm actually coming to his defense right now. That story's bullshit. I don't care if it's true. I don't give a f***. I don't care how fake you think he is. He's been great for our game. He's one of the greatest players of all time. Let's move on. Let's go back to talking about basketball. That shit was bullshit.
Another big thing that happened today, actually, right before we started recording, The Houston Rockets announced that they're going to start, I think, is the biggest lineup in NBA history with Amen Thompson, 6'7" at point guard, and then 4 6'11" guys. They are getting credited, and I think rightfully so, for doing the double big man lineup that's been popular last year in the NBA with Steven Adams and Şengün. I know the NBA is all trends, right? So everyone played two bigs all the time. Then the Warriors came and Draymond Green, I'll give him the credit, revolutionized the game by going small ball and making everything switchable. Do you see it now going where having a big team is a premium?
It's so funny how the game changes. Remember, everyone's small ball. Now we're about big ball. Now people think, "Man, can we play through a center? Can we not play?" It's a copycat league. I could care less if it's a center. Not. I just want the best players in the world in the league. That's what I want the NBA to be. I don't care if it's 10 point guards on one team. I don't care. I want whoever's the best 400 plus players in the world in the NBA. That's what I care about. I care about
But
the
are we
purity of
going?
the
Are we
game.
going to positionless basketball? Because you and me were talking about it on the last pod, where we're going to get to a point where whoever gets the rebound just brings it up. Like if you're a Magic
I
fan
do
and Powell
believe.
gets the rebound, Franz gets the rebound, don't look for Jalen Suggs. Like you're bringing it
No,
up. That's the
I
future of the
do
game.
believe. I do believe we're headed that way. I do believe with the evolution of basketball, it's hard to argue against centers not being able to dribble and bring up the ball soon because they're already shooting threes. They're already look what these guys are doing, man. Look at Cat hit a step back three to seal a Pistons. The things that these centers are doing, you would never. Hakeem Olajuwon is one of the greatest players of all time, greatest centers of all time. He was great in his own way and is a different era. Could you imagine him doing a step back 3-pointer? You can't even envision it because that's not what the game was played then. Now, obviously, with the evolution, we have what we have. So how could you not think that they're going to be dribbling the ball up soon? I don't think there'll be a position anymore. What the hell is Shea? Is he a point guard? Is he a shooting guard? He shoots more than a point guard. I don't know what it is. It's already started with the point guards. Steph is a point guard, but he's a shooting guard, but he needs a point guard. I don't know. So
Right.
if you don't think centers, if you don't think within the next 5 to 10 years, we're not going to have centers grab the rebound and everyone runs.
Yeah.
Nikola does it.
Well, so
Nikola gets a rebound and people run.
it made sense, and we talked about this before. It made sense when, like in the 80s or 90s, when players were more specialists, right? So you had your John Stockton kind of setting everybody up, and he's the one with the ball in his hands. But like our favorite team of the last 5 years, I think we could agree. I think we really liked the Celtics of 2 years ago. Who was their point guard, right? Was it Drew Holiday? Was it Jason Tatum? Led them in assists? Was it Derek White? No, it was a bunch of guys on the court that were all capable of putting the ball on the floor, making a play, and shooting. And I think that's kind of where the NBA is going.
Yes, I agree. I think
Yeah.
I believe it will be positionless basketball. Multiple guys will be able to cut, drive, shoot, defend, dribble. It'll just be a matter of where you position them and who they guard. But playing style wise, it's just going to be an up and down track meet full of skill. That's where I see
Yeah.
the NBA going. Yeah.
But what about Kevin Durant starting at shooting guard for that team? I think that was kind of the news that made the biggest headlines. I was like, no, this isn't just Kevin Durant like in his prime starting at shooting guard, right? Which I think Kevin Durant in his prime could do whatever he wants. This is like the 36, 37-year-old Kevin Durant starting at shooting guard,
There's
guarding like Anthony Edwards. You know what I mean? Like
there's that
that's a lot to
picture of
ask
him at
for.
whose high school event was he at?
Who KD's?
The Rockets all went to some high school player. I think it was one of the twins. They all went to like a high school player's jersey retirement. And KD, who's usually notorious for being one of the tallest guys on his team, was in this picture and he was like the same height as everyone. Everyone's like, this team is a monster in terms of their
Right.
size. It's especially, and listen, it sucks that Fred went down because he's such a good player and he's a really good guard for them. But with that, the size of what's just upgraded on their team, they're going to put the Thompson twin at the point. So it's already starting at 6'6", and then it goes to KD who's 7 foot, and then it's Jabari Smith 6'10", 6'8", and then it's like whoever they started the big, whether it's Clint, Steven Adams, take your pick, or Sangoon's going to start 7 foot. But their team is humongous. Torrey Eason 6'8". They are big. They're long. They can defend. They can switch multiple positions in terms of multiple guys being able to guard point guard, shooting guard, center. They have 5 guys. They'll be able to switch 1 through 5, which is very valuable for lack of help side and rotation. They won't have to deal with a lot of that because they're all like-sized guys. They'll be able to just switch 1 through 5. It makes them very dangerous on defense. And with a coach like Ime, and with them already being one of the top defensive teams in the league last year, you've added more size and length. Even guys like Finney Smith. Finney Smith's a hard-nosed defender. They've added a bunch of dudes that will defend. Now, Kevin is not the greatest defender, but he's long and athletic, and he's going to give you 20-plus per game so you can get over it. So that's what they got going on right now. They're going to be very big and they're going to be good.
Right. So
Houston's
Fred
dangerous,
VanVleet
man.
obviously going down is a problem, right? And it's not a
For
positive
sure,
thing
for
for the
sure. He's
Rockets,
too good
but
of a player.
you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
look at it as, like you said, opportunity for the Thompson twin to grow. But you know what else it is? It could be Reed Shepard time, man. I saw him against the Atlanta Hawks
And
starters the other day. He looked unbelievable.
he looks fantastic. He's shooting the ball
Yeah.
2, 3 feet. He had 20-something points, 25, 26 points, 27 points, shooting deep behind the line. If you can get that, then now we're talking title contention. If you can get
Yeah.
a solid Reed Shepard, now he's not going to be putting up those type of numbers, but if you can get a Reed Shepard who can come off the bench and give you double digits, whether it's 11, 12 points, some assist, you're good. That's a good start. This is really his rookie season after all. Last year, he didn't really get to play. So this year, if you can get that from him, that's a home run because he's only going to go up from there. If he's averaging 10, 11 off the bench, where does he go as a starter? Now we're talking 16, 17, 5, 6 assists. Now we're talking a starting point guard in the NBA. So like there's an opportunity for them there, and he's shown these glimpses of talent. Obviously, this is a top 5 pick, top 3 pick. So we know he's good. It's just about the opportunity, which now, again, everything happens for a reason. I'm not saying Fred VanVleet went down for a reason because that's not true, and it sucks because he's a really good player, champion, and all these different things. But out of darkness comes sunlight. You know what I mean? Through that crack in the street pavement, a flower will grow. So I don't know if that's going to be Reed. I don't know if it's going to be Thompson going into the point guard position. I don't know who's going to be that. Something will happen because of it. There's always a collateral, effect to things like this, especially in the NBA when there are injuries. Talent always prevails. They have that. So we'll see.
I think you have OKC 1, Denver 2 in the Western
I do.
Conference. Can we
I do.
pencil
I
in
have
the
Denver
Rockets
too.
at 3?
Yes, that's my top 3. And honestly, you could pick any order. Because during the season it's a crapshoot. Now in the playoffs, I'm going OKC 1, and I'm going Denver 2, Houston 3.
Do you think there's any chance Oklahoma City won't have the best record in the West? Because all of their players, it's very rare, if ever, a team wins a championship, they bring everyone back, and everyone's probably going to get better. Because they're all still very young.
It would be hard for me to see them not having the best record in the NBA. Yeah. Just to your point, the continuity is there. They just won. They got everybody back. There's no need to guess. Everyone has the same roles. You know what I mean? Like that's they don't have anybody that needs to buy in. Everyone knows who the best player in the team is. Everyone knows who the second best player in the team is. Everyone knows who the third best player in the team is. Everybody knows after that it's a bunch of role players who are all slotted. Now, can they maintain that is a question because Wiggins and them were happy last year, right? All right, well, now we're heading into these contract years, and now they've won a championship. So it's not just about winning anymore. They won. I'm just telling you, I'm not trying to put negativity in their locker room. All right, I'm just being honest as an athlete. You win a ring.
How much did Denver pay you to spoil a little poison pill? Like, Cason Wallace needs a bigger role. I don't know if he fits there.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw a little poison pill in that locker room. Okay, they've won a championship now, so it starts to now become about something that's green. Okay, all right. You start to think about that. If you're Wiggins and you're Cason Wallace, you're like, all right, well, I played my role to a T. I got a ring, so yeah, I'm bought in, but when we're 30 games in and I have 18 points on a Friday night and then Saturday we have a back-to-back and I don't play or I play 4 minutes, I'm going to be calling my agent like, what the is going on, man? All right, listen, I won a ring already. I need to go somewhere I'm going to get paid, bro. That's what happens. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying that's what has happened. That's why it's very hard for teams to go back-to-back. All right? 3 years ago, we looked at Boston and we're like, Boston's going to run the NBA. Gone. So I'm just telling you, shit can change very quickly. Everything's hunky-dory now. Everything's everything's love. The little post-game interviews and all that shit. Everyone's smiling, laughing. Well, they hadn't won yet.
When your best player's having a yard sale and giving away all of his clothes to all the teammates, everyone looks really happy. He's just,
of course, they get some free merch. He must not wear anything twice. Did you see how many? Bro, it was like 15 racks of clothes. It was an unreasonable amount of clothes. The amount of material and cloth that was in that driveway was remarkable. On another note, I'm doing a little natural thing with the hair up front. There's no lineup, and it's bothering me because I'm already getting comments about my looks. I have like from here down, I got a little Tate thing going on. All right. And from here to here, with the way my edge is right now, it's very Maximus from Gladiator. You don't know what it is. It's just like there. It's just like this little wave of just. I don't know exactly what I got going on. I'm confusing.
Maximus, he had like some big bangs.
Bangs. You see what I'm saying? My barber Frank. I
Well, you're
love
not
you,
like, it's
brother.
not like you're Jim Carrey from Dumb and Dumber. Like, what do you think? You're just coming
No, I
down
don't
like
have those type of bangs.
Lloyd
I'm like 2
Christmas.
weeks. It's just I got to figure out what direction I'm going with these hairs. Now that I'm
Why don't you?
33,
Can you
these are
bring
more
back?
valuable to.
Can we bring back high school curly hair, curly fro, Austin Rivers? Your older brother has it.
It'd just be a lot of work. I don't want to do that.
You know what's tough too is when you're wearing a
I got a
suit all
mean
the time and
side
you're on
profile. My
NBC.
fades. I'm also known for just having one of the illest fades. I mean, do you see that from the side profile? Just throw me on Head and Shoulders, and then I look
How?
up front, and people don't know who I am.
Okay, I have a serious question. You're on TV a lot more this year. What's the frequency for haircuts? Are we talking twice a week, once a week?
Once a week, barber for sure. Frank's got his
You
work
have him
cut
on
out.
retainer, or you pay for every haircut? What's the deal? You pay him monthly?
I'm gonna put him on. I think I'm gonna put my barber on retainer this year because I need him. I need him all the time. And listen, I'm not talking shit, but I do look at my brothers and I look at my dad, and there is doubt and worry. I am thinking about where this is headed. I just saw my brother, but my dad has. I don't know who has made my dad's fuzz last this long. He has. It's like the mist that sits on top of flowers early in the morning. He has it on his head, but it's been lined up for years. So I'm hoping if I'm 65 and I have that, I've won. If I can have a little bit of something
Your
on
dad
top,
must sleep with like a hyperbaric chamber on his head, just preserve those
there's
hairs
something
and clean
because
oxygen.
they're not like thick hairs too. They're very delicate, valuable, fragile hairs. They sit there. He definitely has something. I'm trying to picture Doc with a do rag. But I do. I see. I've always been the kid in the family with the good hair, and I don't have any bald spots. I mean, it's thick, it's black. You see them all the way through. But I do worry about the potential, and I'm starting to feel like how thin it is, and
I
that's where
know.
I'm
I can
like,
tell you during this pod, you've been just touching and rubbing your hair. I know you just got off filming
I
after the
don't.
game. But come on.
I'm not feeling where it's at right today. I'm having a bad hair day. I was in the Giannis interview the whole time, just like. Oh man. So
I got a question. Listen, since we're off the basketball topic, let me ask you a question. It's today. I think it's today. It's NBA. It's Jersey Day. What's your take on a grown man wearing a jersey? Are they allowed?
At a sporting event?
Yeah.
Yes, that's such a weird thing. Why would it be weird that
People
a
are
grown
very.
man wears
We have some friends that will clown us for that, though.
No, I have a problem when I see a man out to dinner with his wife and he has a jersey on. The hell are you doing? That's what I think is weird. If someone is going to watch LeBron James at their arena in the crypto, I was going to say Staples Center, but they're at crypto.com arena watching LeBron, why the hell would it be weird to have a LeBron jersey on? That's so fucking weird. I mean, why is that? Why is that weird? Like, I don't. It's weird to think it's weird. It's just a strange dynamic that's become about over the past couple of years. You can't do shit anymore, man. You can't do anything in today's day. It's like everything is up for debate. You can't go to a sporting event and rep your sporting team. You can't. So what is the line? So now you can't go to a football arena and wear football jerseys? Like, what the are we talking about? Yes, it's okay to wear another man's jersey if you're supporting that man. I don't give a fuck. You go wear the jersey at home watching it on your TV screen. Now, if you're not going to a game or the game's not on and you're just out, when a dude puts on a jersey as a fit, like a polo.
No, wait. I think I've seen you said a pool party is where the jersey's allowed. Like a throwback.
Yeah, that's different. Yes, if you're going to like a pool party wearing a fire throwback and off like an upscore, a weird player, I don't want you to come in like a Sixers Julius Erving jersey. Like, okay, I get it, an Iverson jersey. Give me Eric Snow. Give me Aaron McKee. You know what I mean? I want you got to be creative, but if you wear one of those cool jerseys of like a cool role player, it shows A, you know basketball, and
Okay.
B, you're supporting the guys who don't usually get. You know what I mean? Pull up in a New Orleans Hornets Austin Rivers jersey. You get a lot more love from me than like a Clippers jersey. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
that matters to me. I don't know. Maybe
Favorite
I'm
favorite throwback jersey all time. What is it?
favorite throwback. I love the teal green Vancouver jerseys with the like the grizzly bear just coming out of the word like that. I love the old graphics, the Toronto Raptor with the big sneaker pinstripes. Those are my favorite. I think sometimes with design and fashion, when you get too refined and you get too clean, it gets boring.
Yeah.
And I think we've
And
we've
everyone
got a
looks the
lot of that.
same. Everyone looks the same
Everyone
if you
looks
do,
the
if you
same, and I
yeah.
think we miss a little bit of that nostalgia of just like teams being drastic in like having those emblems and logos and colors and things that match a city. Denver had the rainbow, city. That stuff like matters. Seattle had their colorways. They had the little tower on that. I think that stuff's cool. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
I'm
think of
hoping we get back to
like
that.
the horse for the Pistons, the teal, the
Yes,
buck with
yes,
the
yes.
actual deer on it with the
With
Milwaukee
the
Bucks
actual
back in that
deer
Ray
on
Allen
it,
rookie
yeah, like
year.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I would like to see. Yeah, it kind of goes with the name, the city, anything. I think that's the type of thing you want to see.
Now let me ask you the tough questions. I don't want to be too negative, but what team do you think needs a rebrand? Like the colors, the scheme, it's not working.
Pelicans. Someone needs to grab them, put that whole organization in a net, tie it up, and we need to haul ourselves out of there. All right, it's got to go. They got to. I don't know. They need a whole. First off, they're the Pelicans. There's no appeal there. I was there when they announced it. All right, we went to the grand opening. I was drafted as a New Orleans Hornet, and they said we have the unveil of your new. We're doing a new rebrand for the team, new mascot. We're like, cool. What is it? Tiger? A Panther? They said it's a Pelican. And us coming off of our 17 win season, it coincided. We came out and there's the Pelican and his mascot. I forgot what his fucking name is. The whatever his name. I
Charles.
think his name was like Charter. I don't know what his name was. Something. It's not good. I don't like it. No one likes it. Their colors suck. It's like gold and navy, and then there's red and there's navy. They're all over the place. I don't like it. Um, you know what? It's nothing to do with the city of New Orleans. I just do believe the city of New Orleans is a football country. Okay, that's just
Yeah.
me personally. I think New Orleans, if you put Zion Williams and some of those talented athletes in like Seattle, they'd be sold out every night. That's just me personally. And I think you
Yeah.
could do a fun rebrand with them. I think that's there. So I don't think the New Orleans things makes a lot of sense. If I could do a rebrand of one team, I know I'm going to get hated for saying this down there. I don't give a damn. I don't like New Orleans anyway. If you're going to do a rebrand somewhere, it would be New Orleans for me. And they don't care that I'm saying this. I was asked when I played on that team. I wasn't, but the role that I had and was given, and the leash that Monty put on my damn the harness. I say a leash. I was in a straitjacket the way that he had me playing every night. I couldn't stand my time there, so there's no love law. I don't care. And I know it's not a New Orleans problem because New Orleans is actually, they are a loving city. They have great people in New Orleans, great food. There's a rich culture down there. I'm aware of all these things. I do think it's more tailored towards football. And I do think the organization needs a total rebrand. There's a
Yeah.
few teams, but they're by far for me the top of the list. They're number one. And then there's a lot of yardage, and then you could get down to the number two. But they are by and far. The Grizzlies could need a rebrand a little bit. I don't not the name. I
Well, they
love the
brought back
name.
your favorite throwback jersey. I mean,
I do. I like that. I like that. I don't even want to say Memphis. Let's keep them out of it. Let's keep
you don't want any,
because they.
you don't want any more beef with other cities. That's what it is. You're
Well,
trying
I definitely not Memphis. Nor do I do in New Orleans. I got nothing but love for New Orleans. It's not nothing to do with the city. I think it's a football city, but the people there are great. I'm talking about their damn organization. Now, the organization that's put in place now is not the same one that I was brought
Right.
into. I don't know if you saw that viral video that's going around of Alfred Aminu talking to Iman Shumpert at the poker table.
Mhm.
Brother, my first year, we practiced in a rec center. we'd be practicing and there'd be like an AAU tournament going on in the court next to us, or a volleyball tournament.
Right.
We didn't have a practice facility. We didn't have one. This is what I was drafted to. I left Duke. My dad is Doc.
The worst part is too is everyone obviously is familiar with your hoop mixtape, and the way you were playing so free and the style of play, to then 2 years later put, like you said, the straight jacket on you and say this is how you're gonna play. It's just, it doesn't really add
People
up.
don't understand. I went from being a free player who dominated, just scoring on whoever, whenever, fully confident, living the dream. I'm at Duke, got the nicest of this. I grew up, let's call it for what it is. Shit, things were going well. Everything was tailored for Austin. I get to New Orleans, and I get dropped off at this practice facility. I thought the NBA. I thought the NBA didn't like me. I didn't know. I thought it was an experiment for me to fail. I didn't know what it was. The shittiest, bro. I've never been part of an organization. I've never witnessed anything like that in my life. It was awful. Holy shit. Yeah.
Before we wrap, I feel like you're not gonna be able to go. You have dinner with your. I think you have dinner with at least your father and your brother tonight, since your brother's on the coaching staff, Spencer. Yeah, I'm getting a text from Spencer right now. Wrap the pod up. We have dinner tonight, so I know that they want to get to dinner soon. I have a couple questions for you. This was what I was thinking about, some like barbershop conversation, if you will. Who are you taking rest of their career, VJ Edgecombe or Stephon Castle?
Go on, VJ Edgecombe.
Is that not even a tough one for you? Did you see Castle's dunk the other day?
I'm biased.
And what are you thinking?
I'm going VJ Edgecombe. Can I be honest with you? I'm going VJ. I think first off, there's no wrong answer. Stephon Castle's an extreme talent. This guy just won Rookie of the Year. Yeah, I saw that dunk the other day. It was ridiculous. Oh, I like VJ. I just think he's better. I think VJ's going to be a perennial all-star. And I do think Stephon Castle will be one too. So I don't know if there's really a wrong answer here. I'm just going to go off of what I know. VJ came from my program. I've watched him closely. I've watched Stephon Castle just not nearly as much as I've watched VJ. I've worked out with VJ. I've played one-on-one versus VJ. I've literally watched every stage of his career. I know how good he's going to be. So it's not a matter of me thinking he's better. I'm just going with what I know. And I know Stephon Castle's a great talent, Rookie of the Year. I've seen VJ. I could see his time getting ready to flourish there. I think they're going to give this year is going to be a little bit of a question mark for him in this team because they're still holding on with Joel and Paul there. Their roster looks like they could. We talk about all those teams in the East. No one talks about Philly. They probably, I'm sure, think that they can make a move or something happen. As soon as that doesn't work out, I do think VJ is going to be a guy that they're going to push forward and try to get off of Paul, and VJ is going to be the dude. And that's when I think he'll explode. So I don't know if the timetable if this will age well this year. Stephon Castle might go on to be an all-star. I don't know. But I'm telling you, long-term, I like VJ.
Yeah.
I like VJ.
And we don't talk about Wemby enough on this pod. Have you seen his preseason highlights? He finished a layup. It was about 15 feet from the rim.
I don't know what that was. I didn't know if it was a travel or not because he did that step-through thing that now they don't call in the NBA. They used to.
They don't call.
They don't do.
They
don't call
in
it
our
at all.
era, that was when you lift your pivot. That was.
Well, it is a travel. No.
No, it's okay now.
Now it's just like a beautiful step through. I don't know how you guard anybody anymore. I'm waiting for someone to Euro step from half court. The rules now are so I don't know what's going on. That dude, there's this thing now that guys will pick a pivot foot and then just change to the other one and go off one foot, and the defender's just like. No one, and because of his length, he literally was like by the 3-point line and made a layup. It was incredible. He's a stud. We all know that. He actually was even better than what we thought he was going to be last year. So obviously we know sky's the limit with him. But my goodness, the Spurs they're one of my must-watch teams. I'm so excited to watch.
It's just so unique. So obviously you have a guy in his third year. He was probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year last year. He's slotted to win it again this year. A lot of different websites, networks voted him a top 10 player in the NBA. Do you think his production will be that of a top 10 player in the NBA this year?
Yes. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. Yes. This year, yeah. You know why? It's year 3. It's that time. He knows it. Look, and you talked about it. You already compared him last year for what guys did in year 2. I think you compared him to Hakeem a little bit and what other guys were able to make that jump. Year 3 is like, okay, the rookie and sophomore game is over, right? It's all-star, superstar time now. I think that bigger jump is now. He made a jump he had a great rookie year. Then he had an even better year last year. That third year is when you see guys, you take that fucking jump. I talked to Giannis about that earlier today. He's like, I made that jump from year 3 to 4, but it's around that time. Like this is it's go time. You know what I mean? Like there's what are we waiting for year 4 or 5 for these top guys to get going? No, it's time now. You've had 2 years to play. You've been the focal point of a roster in a franchise for 2 years. It's time to go. I want to see 28 points per game. I want to see 10 rebounds plus a game. I want to see league leader in blocks. And I think we're going to. I think his production will put him in a top 10 caliber for sure. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I saw a spin move where the guy bounced off of him and he dunked it. He kind of like prime Giannis when he did that, mixed with Shaq. I don't even know. And it's kind of like that comment from that Leo movie where that comment, like something was coming like an asteroid. And right now everyone's like ignoring it, but we all see it coming. We're like, is he just going to dominate the NBA for the next 10 years? It looks insane. And I saw an interview the other day where he's talking about he doesn't like talking about his height. But the guy looks like he's 7'7", and he's moving like that. So
he's been an alien his whole life. I'm sure he's like tired of just like, let's make it about me. Let's make it about the game. Let's make it about my skill level. Let's not talk about I'm good here because Giannis talked about another example of just like Giannis is like, I hate that people equate my game just to my freak athlete. Just to everything I have athletically and not my mind for the game, my approach, my demeanor, what I see. I get a wall. I'm the only player in the NBA right now that when I get a rebound, the other team builds a wall at the half court. And I have to figure out ways to go around it. I have to figure out ways to get guys involved. You don't average. He was second in scoring last year. He was second in scoring the year before. He was second in scoring the year before. People don't even know this. You know what I mean? Like he's been close to scoring champ for the past 3 years in a row. So it's like you don't just do that because you're athletic and big. There has to be some type of – you have to have something there. So, yeah, I think Wemby's next step is right there. And I'm sure he gets tired of people talking about his height because he's like, no, I'm more than that. So This is that year, and I agree. I think he's going to have a big-time year.
Man, when you talk about Giannis and his accolades and being second in scoring the last how many years, you think about how it would be tough for guys like him and Jokic to end their career only having one title as it stands. And that's the problem with all the parity in the NBA right now. Having a new champion the last 6 years, 7 years, now you're going to have guys potentially end their career the way, obviously, Dirk had to or some of these other guys. And it would be a letdown. Like Giannis to me is I would say a top 20 player all time as it stands. Defensive player of the year, 2-time MVP champion. But some of these guys like Jokic, if Jokic's career ends with one championship, how do you can't even put him up there with the Shaquille O'Neals that have 4.
I think you still can. I think you can because I think it's there is luck involved. Okay. And we got to stop playing like some of these guys were lucky to have an organization built around them with like top tier talent. Nikola Jokic has never played with a Kobe Bryant level player ever. Nowhere near in the fucking vicinity. So when we talk about championships, Nikola didn't play with Dwayne Wade. Nikola did not play with fucking Kobe Bryant. Shaq did. Michael played with Scottie Pippen. Okay? Some of these guys were blessed with a guy who got drafted or traded to a team that became a superstar. Some of these guys didn't have that. And I'm not talking about guys who left and got rings on different teams and chased them. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the guys like Dirk, who stayed through an organization who was the second best player that Dirk ever played with on his team at the same time?
I'm going to go with young Steve Nash.
And that was before Steve was even like a perennial all-star. I think he made his first all-star game with Dallas.
Are we missing somebody? I mean, are you thinking like Tyson Chandler in his prime?
But okay, then. So this is my point. Okay, then. All right, I love Tyson.
I mean, Karan Butler had a run. That's a good question. I gotta get the right answer to this one.
Okay, that's the point.
He played with Luka his last year.
Exactly. So you don't have to think about it. Who's the best player Michael played with? You don't got to think about it. Scotty. If I say Shaq, you say Kobe, then you say Wade. It's some of these guys are blessed to have these things, okay?
Yeah.
So it's like, bro, the best player that Giannis has ever played with prior to the Damian experience came at the end of Damian's career. Damian's 30-something years old. Was Drew Holiday, who was even past his all-star prime as well. So it's like we can't knock it. That one championship to me means more than that. So I'm not a rings guy. I don't do all that. I just don't. You know what I mean? That's why when I say my top players, I have Kevin Durant in there. I don't give a about the rings he won or hasn't won. I'm talking about him individually as a player in the cloth. I do think Nikola with his, what does he have, 2 MVPs, 3 MVPs?
Nikola has 3. They're not letting him get his 4th.
If you get 3 MVPs, you get to be on the Rushmore of whatever position you play to where you could start talking.
Yeah.
All right. He's got more MVPs than Shaq. He can sit up. So you might have more rings, but I got more MVPs. So I could have a conversation against Shaq. I also didn't get to play with Kobe Bryant or Dwayne Wade. Respectfully, come on. Like that shit matters. It's not Kevin Garnett played.
But it's also with the same way champion titles have a lot of luck to do with them. Shaq should have more than 1 MVP. The guy was the most dominant player I've ever seen for that 2000 to 2004 stretch.
So should Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant has 1 fucking MVP. How, man? He was the best player in the NBA for like 10 years straight at one point. Bro, Kobe Bryant was the best player in the NBA for like 8 years.
We've talked about this because when he was really good, he wasn't a couple times. He had with the 7 seed or didn't make the playoffs with the Smush Parker.
Because he had his fucking smushing, goddamn whoever he had over this team wasn't. It was goddamn Luke Walton was a pivotal role. He didn't have. So let me ask you this, right? When you gave him Gasol and Bynum, he went back, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, so when Kevin Garnett left the Timberwolves and played with Ray Allen and Paul Pierce the first year, they won it all. It's not you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so it's not a coincidence. If Ray Allen and Paul Pierce were drafted to his team, they would have won. Now imagine if that team would have been together for 15 years. Kevin and Ray and them would have 4 rings.
Yeah, it's
just like
we talk about that.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So sometimes things fall in your place, man.
Who's lucky? Okay, then let me ask you this: who got luckier? Tim Duncan getting drafted by the Spurs, who were only in that situation because David Robinson was injured, and he went right back. So he went right to a team that was competing for championships.
Yeah, right to a team
First team All-NBA's rookie year, wanted a second year. Or Kobe Bryant getting drafted or traded on draft night with Shaquille O'Neal and the Lakers.
There's no wrong answer in this. They both were
very fortunate,
lucky. Yes, and they're both 2 of the greatest players to ever play our game. All right, in my opinion, they probably would be in my top 5. You can make an argument that you could put both of them in the top 5 all-time greatest of all time. Definitely top 10. And they both were fortunate. Situation matters, even for the best of the best. It matters. Damian Lillard's a perennial all-star. He looked lost with Milwaukee last year. It matters. It just does. Yeah, man, that matters. He got drafted. Duncan got drafted to the perfect situation, and he had a vet that played his exact position that could show him the ropes, who's also a former MVP, David Robinson. With the Popovich of the team that he had and the culture they drafted around, bro, that shit mattered. That's why he has some of the best winning percentage in the history of the game. Kobe Bryant got drafted and got to play with Shaq.
Right.
That shit matters. Like, I don't. He had Eddie
Kobe
Jones,
Bryant's second year. The Lakers had 4 All-Stars. They had Nick Van Exel and Eddie Jones.
Nick Van Exel, Eddie Jones. Like, these are guys he got to play with and learn from. Like, bro, that shit matters, man. Like,
I wish someone could interview Eddie Jones and be like, man, that second year when Kobe was doing all that, did Eddie Jones, did he look around like, shit, this guy's on my position. he's 18, 19 years old.
Yeah. And he already thought he was the best, too.
Yeah.
Like, Kobe came in there. I'm sure Eddie was like, what the f*** is this guy talking about? You know what I mean? Like, it just works out for some players. It works out for some Lakers. It worked out for Kobe. It didn't work. D'Angelo Russell got drafted. This is the number 2 pick in the draft. Nick Young was his vet. And we saw how that ended. All right, so like, it just, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just, some guys get lucky. Some guys don't. Now, it doesn't mean that's why they are who they are. Kobe Bryant was a force that was not going to be stopped. Tim Duncan was a force that was not going to be stopped. These 2 were going to be greatest of all time anyway. But the winning, the rings, that's what we're talking about. That's why we're bringing all this up. Right. They had more luck on their side. Some of these guys who only have 1 do not have that, especially in a small market. Giannis is sitting here in Milwaukee. They're not getting free agents. He's had to literally get it out the mud here. Nikola's in Denver. Nobody's going there. So It's like, unless they draft well or their GM does well, which Tim Connelly built most of that, Yeah, so it matters.
All right. Well, the NBA tips off tomorrow night. I know you're looking forward to Rockets OKC. I know that's a big one for you. So,
Big time game.
any prediction? I feel like this. I mean, it's gonna be ring night. It's emotional. They're young.
I'm not
Does
going to
OKC
take
come
anything
out
from
flat?
it. I'm not going to take anything from it. I'm just going to enjoy it because it's the first game of the year. Neither team is who they're going to be a month from now, nor 2 or 3 months from now. It is opening night. There's going to be a lot of emotions there on both sides. This is Kevin's first time in Houston as his debut. He's also back in a place that made him, or that he made, however you want to look at that. And he's seeing an organization get their first ring that he was so close to getting as well. There's going to be so much there. This is their first ring night. I don't know how to chalk it. Tomorrow's just going to be whatever it is. I'm just going to enjoy it. But what it means in the grand scheme of things, nothing. But it's just going to be an entertaining game where you got guys playing hard and competing, and it's opening night, and there's a lot of festivities and stuff that's going on. So a lot of hoopla for tomorrow. I'm excited about.
Cool.
Well, listen, man, that does it for this episode. We'll obviously be back end of the week. We're now back to 2 episodes. We're here, baby. NBC. Yeah, man. I mean, good God, we've been waiting for this all summer. This is what we do every year. It's like life just dulls. Food doesn't taste the same. Colors aren't as bright and popping. I love making to my wife the other day, my fiance the other day, and I'm over there thinking about a weak side X. I've been waiting. This is all I think about is the game, and we're here. Very excited. What a way to tip off. NBC, the only thing that should be covering basketball as far as I see it, is doing it tomorrow night, opening night on NBC, and it's going to be a blast. So we'll be here to touch back later in the week. Everybody be safe. Make sure you log, subscribe, tap in, follow us on Instagram, the Off Guard Podcast, and we'll see you later this week. Me and Pausha are out.